everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will present you Turkic Khaganate, which was an important political player in Asia. Before the creation of the Turkic state, for 200 years, the northern neighbor of China was Rouran Khaganate. The ruling dynasty was founded by escaped slave Yu Lu on the territory of modern Mongolia near Hangai Mountains. Rouran people mostly raided their Chinese neighbors and stole livestock, jewelry, weaponry, and other goods. After death of Yu Lu, his descendants founded a big state. In the west, it bordered with the state of Hephthalites. In the east, they got into a conflict with the northern dynasty Wei, and in the 5th century, Chinese made Rouran vassals. But in 535, northern Wei collapsed and conflicting states appeared, western Wei and eastern Wei. Both states were looking for an alliance with the Rouran. At that time, Rouran Khaganate was experiencing internal disorder. Near South Altai Mountain, so-called 500 families of Ashina lived. They came to Rouran Khaganate from northern China, escaping from Wei. Probably 500 families were representatives of different tribes. Ashina might mean wolf, an animal worshipped by all nomads, or it might mean color blue. Ashina people were good at iron processing and thus were very valuable vassals for Rouran. It seems like Ashina tribe was quite powerful as the ruler of Western Wei sought an alliance with them. Despite of high risk, Ashina leader Bumin agreed to make this alliance, targeting Eastern Wei and Rourans. In order to provoke Rouran leader, Bumin asked to marry his daughter. But Rouran ruler did not consider Bumin as a good candidate for his daughter and refused. In contrast to Rouran ruler, Western Wei emperor allowed his daughter to marry Bumin. This marriage increased Bumin's authority and let him gather more supporters. In 552, Bumin's army defeated Rourans, showing the advantage of his heavy cavalry. Rouran's leader killed himself and Bumin became a new Khagan. Instead of Rouran Khaganate, the Turkic Khaganate was created. Turks started to expand their state going west, where weak scattered tribes could not resist. By 558, Turks came to River Volga but did not cross it, returning back to the Central Asia and faced state of Hephthalites. Hephthalites was a strong enemy, so Turks decided to make an alliance with the Sassanid Empire. Attacked on two fronts, Hephthalites could not resist and were defeated. Their state was divided between Turks and Sassanids across river Amudarya. The southern part was given to Persians, the northern part to Turks. But Persian-Turkic alliance did not live long, and two states started to conflict right away because of the silk. After conquering Central Asia, Turks started to control a part of Silk Road, through which Persia and Byzantine acquired silk from China. Byzantine wanted to increase the amount of silk delivered, and Turks were interested in increasing the trade outflow, as it would provide higher profits. But Sassanids were not eager to increase trade. To find another road for trade, Turks went west, crossing river Volga and reaching Bosporan Kingdom, which was under Byzantine control. They also moved to the Caucasus and came to Derbent, which is Dagestan nowadays. But they did not risk attacking Sassanid fortress. The roads were too dangerous for caravans and Byzantine started its own production of silk. This fact upset Khagan and Turks attacked Byzantine in Bospor and Crimea but could not control Byzantine territories. The end of the 6th century was a peak of prosperity of Turkic Khaganate. For 50 years, Khaganate was a one state. The conflicts in the ruling family were avoided thanks to horizontal inheritance system. Khagan title went not from father to son, but from brother to brother, and then to the eldest nephew. This system gave an opportunity for every male in the ruling family to become a Khagan. But this system had one flaw. If someone died before elder brothers, his sons were excluded from inheritance lines. Those who were excluded were dangerous to all other male representatives. One of these excluded contenders was Ishbara. The first Khagan Bumin did not rule long. His son Karaisik also didn't stay on throne for a long time and mysteriously died. After his death, Ishbara had to be a Khagan, but his uncle Mukan outran him. Mukan ruled for 20 years and made a horizontal inheritance law, so after him the new Khagan became his brother Taspar. In 581, after Taspar's death, the new Khagan had to be his nephew Toraman. But Toraman was not popular among Turkic elites, so Ishbarai, using this situation, supported Taspar's sons Amrak, who became next Khagan. Soon after, Ishbara outran Amrak and became Khagan himself. He was very scared of Toraman and attacked his lands. Toraman escaped to the west and ended up in Bukhara, where he was killed by Ishbara's people, and Ishbara died before Toraman. But the conflict did not end up. The next Khagan, Chulo, wanted to return West territories to Abaddons, but died in campaign. In 600, Chinese emperors from Sui dynasty were trying to make the conflict bigger in the ruling family of Turks. The Khagan's heir found asylum in China, the fact of which made Khagan Tulan very upset, and he started the war with China. The war was not successful for Tulan, and he was killed by his own warriors. After his death, the throne was usurped by Tartu, who was from the west territories of Khaganate. At the same time, China was promoting Yami, previous Khagan's son. In 603, Tardu ran away and was killed, so Yami became a new Khagan, but only in the east. The west territories that belonged before to Tardu did not want to submit to Chinese puppet. From that time, Turkic Khaganate was divided into western and eastern separate states. That's it for today. Thank you for watching my videos. Unfortunately, these days I cannot keep up posting videos every 5 days, but I will try my best to post a new video every week. Thank you. Bye bye.